Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 6 p.m. Prime News on Camdis Television in the Queen's language. We begin right away with our major headlines. The former Chadian president, Hissène Habré, is no more. The 79-year-old former president of Chad died this morning in a hospital in Dakar after a prolonged illness. A security meeting is presently going on in Nigeria to discuss on how to combat terrorism and separatist fighters. Cameroon is being represented in the meeting by Paul Atanganji, Minister of Territorial Administration. The 30th edition of AfroBasket kicked off this morning in Kigali, Rwanda, with 16 teams to take part in the competition. Cameroon will take on South Sudan in her first encounter tomorrow, August 24, 2021. Details in a moment. Thanks for joining us. This is the 6 p.m. Prime News of Camdis Television. We begin with this sad news. White news spread like wildfire this day after the passing away of Hissène Habré, the former president of Chad. The 79-year-old former president died after a prolonged illness in one of the hospitals in Dakar. Who is Hissène Habré? Tabby Clarkson attempts to answer this question in the following report.
His name is Hissène Habré. The former Chadian leader died this morning in Dakar, Senegal. Hissène Habré, who governed Chad for 8 years from 1982 to 1990, will always be remembered by many Chadians as the president who did not give democracy and peace a chance. His dictatorial policies earned him the name, the Pinochet of Africa. For 8 years, he was feared by all the Chadians as his secret police was ready and determined to do away with all the enemies of the republic. In 1990, he was overthrown by the rebel forces led by Idriss Déby Itno. He came to Cameroon and later on he went to Senegal. On the 30th of May 2016, after close to 25 years, he left office. He was jailed by an African Union-backed court in Dakar, Senegal for life imprisonment. Hissène Habré was accused of being behind rape, sexual slavery, and ordering of killings while in power. Torture was equally the order of the day, with a famous swimming pool connected with electric cable. We are talking of 40,000 political motivated murder and 200,000 cases of torture. Hissène Habré left power in 1990 through a coup plot organized by Idriss Déby, same as he took office from Gunuki Wadai through a coup d'etat in 1982. Is it not said that as you came to power, that is how you will leave power? Hissène Habré was serving his jail sentence in Dakar, Senegal, at the Cap Manuel prison, where he passed on this morning. According to reliable sources, he contracted COVID-19 pandemic and was a diabetes and high blood patient. Hissène Habré was born in August 1942 and he also died in the month of August 2021 at the age of 79.
We now take you over to something very important. When we talk on security, there is a meeting going on in Nigeria to discuss on some security challenges and how to map out strategies to combat terrorists and separatist fighters. The Cameroon is being represented by Atanganji, Paul, Minister of Territorial Administration. Tabby Clarkson completes the story for us.
A trans-border security meeting is presently going on in Nigeria. Minister Paul Atanganji of Territorial Administration is meeting with Nigerian officials in the 8th session of the trans-border security meeting between Yaoundé and Abuja. Both countries, Nigeria and Cameroon, are bent in securing their borders so as to make livelihood suitable for their citizens. Their common enemy is Boko Haram. Boko Haram has for years been causing havoc at the borders between both countries. The authorities are meeting to share intelligence and to come up with a viable strategy to fight the enemy. Apart from Boko Haram, Nigeria is also helping Cameroon to fight the separatist fighters in the northwest and southwest regions. An example to showcase Nigeria's implication in helping Cameroon to combat the Amber Boys is the arrest of Issoufou Ayok Tabe and 46 others in January 2018. Sisiku Ayok Tabe, we all know, declared himself president of a so-called Ambazonia Republic that was in 2017. Nigeria and Cameroon are saying no to terrorism. This is no doubt the raison d'etre of the 2-day trans-border security meeting currently going on in Nigeria, where Minister Paul Atanganji is taking or is backing the aspirations of the Cameroonian people.
Still talking security due to the fact that after the killing of a young girl and a lady in the northwest region of the country, the Union des Populations du Cameroun released a press release saying that in which the party condemns vehemently in the strongest terms the killing of a lady in the PCC church in Bali on Friday, the 22nd of August. The UPC also called on the government to investigate and to bring to book the perpetrators of this gruesome act. Apart from that, the Secretary General of the party, Honorable Obapo Lipot, has also called on all UPC militants and sympathizers to stay focused on the objectives of the party. Robert Bapo Lipot says in this release, the most important of the UPC party right now is the organization of its structures, basic organs of the party, and not holding of an extraordinary congress. We now talk education, creating schools. Certainly, some do not master the procedures that lead to proper creation of private schools in Cameroon. In the following report, we'll be getting to know some of the steps to follow to create a government or a private school in line with government's rules. Let's have more in the following reports.
Many Cameroonians wish to create schools in a bid to promote education, as it remains the foundation of every successful country and paving a way to guarantee the best future for the younger generation. To successfully create one, there are steps to follow with clear intentions. Firstly, the profile of the person intending to create a school is very important. The concerned must have at least a degree or any other equivalent document. Secondly, he must have acquired an attestation to create a school delivered by the Ministry of Secondary Education. Another document to obtain permission to open the establishment must be provided. Last but not the least, an attestation of good morality attached with the certificate of non-conviction, a land title bearing the concerned name of the land on which the school will be built should be provided and signed by competent authority. It is also important that the land should have enough space on which the school will be built on that will have. In 2012, His Excellency President Paul Biya signed an organigram to define the structure of the Ministry of Higher Education, the National Brigade for the Control of the Creation of Private Schools, and a regulatory organ makes sure that everything put in place is in conformity before operation. The ministry has taken the bull by the horn, reasons why from 2016 to 2019 there is a reduction of clandestine schools from 71 to 4, but in 2020 to 2021, faced with the socio-political crisis in the northwest and southwest regions, many pupils and students have migrated to other regions, coupled with the deadly coronavirus that is claiming more lives in the country. This migration from one region to the other, according to many, has caused disorder to the regular functioning at the service of the state. For the past 2 years, statistics shows that about 60 schools were shut down, amongst which others were already following the process to regularize their situation. After a second thought not to leave these children stranded, most schools were not shut down. Despite all these challenges, it is very important to respect the law and do what is right by obtaining legal documents to be on the safe side.
The African Education Fair officially opens its doors this Tuesday at the Yaoundé Esplanade. Under the auspices of the Ministry of Youth and Civic Education, an initiative of the United and Solidarity Youth of Africa, their objective is to promote education for all. Gerardine Nasi completes the story.
Promoting sustainable quality education for the current and future generations is the focus of the African Education Fair that officially opens this Tuesday, August 24th, organized by the United and Solidary Youth of Africa. The organization has as ambition to contribute alongside governments and development partners to the improvement of the living conditions of African populations and the development of communities.
Plan is supporting the government on access on implementing the right of children to education. This is by increasing the capacity of the schools to have children, to register children and give them the adequate education. This is also by supporting the families in giving the children the opportunity to go to school. We support the families by increasing their capacities, their economic capacities to educate their children.
The organization works with many institutions, companies and youth associations as partners who carry out the same initiatives, which is to promote the access of all children to school and equally promote the disabled children in the development process.
Disabled children are one of our targets because in our society, there are some parents who think that disabled children are witch or witchcraft victims. So they don't think that those children need education, or they don't think that these children can be useful for themselves. So what we do in the first time to sensitize children, to sensitize the parent, orientate them in knowing that their children can be educated as all other children.
The ceremony, which saw the presence of the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Civic Education, presented a grouping of conscious African youth who have taken the destiny of their nation into their own hands by bringing out ideal solutions that implement for the sustainable development of communities through a sense of patriotism, dynamism and innovation in all sectors of activity for the growth of the country.
Few weeks before school resumption, parents have become very busy as they keep visiting the market to buy some basic necessities for their children as they prepare to face the 2021-2022 academic school year. Most parents now focus more on buying school shoes for their children. Some shoe seller says that black shoes is on high demand. Geraldine Nase visited the Mokolo market here in Yaoundé and paints a picture of how activities are going on in that part of the town. Her reports.
Few weeks to school resumption, the fever of preparations for the start of the new academic school year rises a notch in homes as parents are striving for the purchase of solid, durable and above all the best colors of shoes for their children. In the Mokolo market in Yaoundé, shoe shops are filled with parents bargaining prices and others are seen alongside their children who brought them to make the right choices and the right sizes. Most of these vendors say black shoes are in high demand in the market, but there are no buyers.
There are shoes in the market, but unfortunately, there is no money. The parents are not buying. There is the high demand of black shoes of all sizes for both boys and girls, and it's because most schools demand for black shoes. We cannot throw the other colors, so we are obliged to dye the shoes to black.
Why the vendors are complaining of the business being slow because they are selling at a loss, the parents on the other hand say the shoes are very expensive even for the least sizes. The problem is that it has become more expensive. I don't have particular colors because I am buying for my grandchildren who are still in primary school. According to the vendors, however, there is affluence in the market and the shoes are there. So they are convinced that when the time approaches, the business will be a profitable one.
Today, August 24th, marks day one of a one-week seminar organized at INGS here in Yaoundé. This seminar is aimed at training some students who will later on train some younger athletes. This in a bid to boost the sports sector in Cameroon. Details in the following report.
The opening of a one-week seminar to train trainers of athletes starts August 24th at INGS headquarters in Yaoundé. Organized by INGS in partnership with the Federation of Athleticism, participants appreciated this golden opportunity that comes with major changes after 2 years.
We are happy because it's going to give us the ability to be good coach in future and to bring improvement to the children.
There are hopes that this seminar will bring positive impacts for the betterment of athletes after 3 years of training.
This seminar is going to bring me a lot in the field and it's going to help me to better coach my students. My objective is to improve myself because coming to the end of my third year formation, I've acquired a lot.
A well-calculated initiative as Cameroon needs to shine in different domains with born talents in most Cameroonian athletes as demonstrated during the last 2021 Olympic Games that took place in Tokyo.
If you are just joining, this is the 6 p.m. Prime News on CameDish Television, live from Yaoundé, the capital of Cameroon. We continue with sport this time around with Afro Basket with a cover shot. The 30th edition of the Afro Basket competition kicks off this morning in Kigali, Rwanda. 16 teams are taking part in the competition with defending champion Tunisia present. Other big names in the competition include Angola, Nigeria and Senegal. Cameroon will tomorrow, August 25th, take on South Sudan in her first encounter. It is the first time the African Basket Championship is taking place in Rwanda. We'll be bringing you more updates in a subsequent newscast. We continue with this sad note. The former president of Chad, Hissène Habré, died this morning at the age of 79. He died after a prolonged illness in Senegal. And now, after the imprisonment at the age of 79, Radinasi completes the story for us.
Zambia's newly elected leader, Hakainde Hichilema, takes office this Tuesday, August 24th, after a comprehensive election victory hailed as a rare triumph over authoritarianism and a milestone in African democracy. The 59-year-old newly elected leader, on his 6th bid for the presidency, he defeated the incumbent Edgar Lungu 64 by almost 1 million votes, a landslide spurred by economic hardship and restricted freedoms under the previous regime. Hichilema will, however, take the oath of office before a crowd that will notably include opposition politicians from regional countries as well as current and former African leaders. Former Chadian President Hissène Habré has died at the age of 79 in Senegal, where he was sentenced to life imprisonment for crimes against humanity after an unprecedented trial. Habré, who ruled from 1982 to 1990, was sentenced on 30th April 2016 after being found guilty of crimes like rape, murder and slavery, which led to an inquiry estimated 40,000 people who died as a result of the repression under his regime. In Tunisia, the Tunisian President Kais Saied has extended until further notice the suspension of parliament, which has been suspended since the July 25th coup that gave Saied full power. Many Tunisians have welcomed Said's measures with enthusiasm and expect strong actions against corruption and impunity in a country where the social, economic and health situation is very difficult.
Dear televiewers, it is with that international run-up by Geraldine that we draw the curtains of our 6 p.m. Prime News on CameDish Television. Here are our major headlines. The former Chadian president, Hissène Habré, is no more. The 79-year-old president, former president, died this morning in a hospital in Dakar after a prolonged illness. A security meeting is presently going on in Nigeria to discuss on how to combat terrorism and separatist fighters. Cameroon is being represented in the meeting by Paul Atanganji, Minister of Territorial Administration. The 30th edition of Afro-Basket kicked off this morning in Kigali, Rwanda, with 16 teams to take part in the competition. Cameroon will take on South Sudan in her first encounter tomorrow, August 24th, 2021. Thanks for being there. Do not go away. More interesting programs will be yours on Camdis television. Meet the Director General, Charles Chanzé, at exactly 8 p.m. with news in the French language. Have a wonderful evening.